Hi, my name is Andrea Benville, and I'm the data manager with the Saskatchewan Conservation Data Center. If you're planning on volunteering with the Ministry of Environment's Fruit and Hawk Survey this spring, this is the fourth in this series of webinars that you should be watching. I will be covering how we'll be collecting data while in the field, and I'll do a quick demo. We're going to be using our phones to collect information while we're in the field. We've developed survey forms in an application called Survey123 for ArcGIS, which is a product from a company called Esri. It is free to download and use. The reason we're using this app is because it can be used offline while you're in the field, but you should download the app and get everything set up well in advance so that you can use your Wi-Fi at home and make sure there's no problems. While you're in the field, it will use the GPS on your phone, which doesn't require an internet connection. The only difference that you experience is that the satellite imagery will not show on the map if you're in an area out of service, but this is okay because the app will still be able to record your location with the GPS. As you collect information, it can be saved and then submitted at the end of the day when you're back at home and you're connected to Wi-Fi. So the first step that you'll need to do is get the device that you plan on taking out in the field with you and go to either the App Store or Google Play and search Survey123 for your ArcGIS to find it and then download it to your phone. Once you've downloaded it, you'll need the two links to the surveys that we'll send you in an email after you've been signed up for your survey blocks. So I'll just demo this here. Just let me connect to my iPad. So here's my mobile device. You can see I have Survey123 already installed. But when I go to it, I haven't downloaded any of the surveys yet. So it just asks me to sign in. You don't need to sign in. You're not going to have an account, so just ignore that. So what you'll need to do is open up your email on your phone, and then you'll get the links that we sent you. And then you'll just have to click on the link, and it'll open it up, and it'll ask you if you want to open it up in Survey123. And I'll click Open. And there we go. We can see it's opened up one of the surveys. So I want to go back into the other one, so I'm just going to close out of this one. I can close this survey and lose changes. I haven't filled anything out. And I'm just going to go back to my email, and I'm going to get that other link as well. I'm going to click Open. And now we have another survey. I'll close out of it again. And there we go. We can see there's two icons showing now in my surveys. So what these are is there's one called Fruginous Hawk Nest 2018, and then the other one's called Fruginous Hawk Survey Block 2018. So the nest one is the form that you're going to fill out anytime you're in the field and you encounter a stick nest, whereas the survey block one is what you're going to fill out after you've finished your survey block at the end of the day to record how many kilometers you traveled, what the weather was, and things like that. So to do this demo, let's just pretend we've seen a hawk nest. We're ready to record our data. So I've clicked on that nest icon there. It gives me a little more information about what the survey is for, and then just press this collect button that's down at the bottom to start collecting data. And it opens the form. So one thing to note is some of the fields will have this red asterisk beside them. What that means is that the field is required. So you need to fill it out with something in order to submit the data. Otherwise, it's going to give you an error and you're going to have to go back and fill it out. So the first thing is just your survey block ID. You should be given this, but this is just the name of the township that you're surveying in. The date and time, it'll automatically be filled in, but if you do need to change it, you can just click on it. So the next is your location. This is automatically pulling the location from my GPS, but as you can see, it doesn't look very accurate. So it's going to be really important when you're in the field, you need to click that target icon right here in the right corner to get that accuracy down, because you want it to be under 65 meters in order to submit your survey. Ideally, you want to try to get down as low as possible, possibly 5 to 10 meters. It depends where you are, how accurate you're going to be. I'm in a house, so it's not very accurate. Another option that you have if your base map is loading, you're in an area of service, you can click on this map and you can actually move the point. So if you know where your nest is on the satellite imagery, you can go to the tree where it is and then select it. So this pin is just locked to the center, so you just need to click and drag the map around to get it in the right location. And then once you have it in the right location, I just click that green arrow in the corner and it saved it. So now you can see the pin is where my pretend nest is. So next is this location description field. It's optional. If you have a verbal description of something that'll increase the accuracy, help us know where the location is, just fill that out. It could be the name of the road you're on. It could be the description where the nest is, such as along a fence line, anything like that. It's completely optional. The next is the distance of nest from observer field, as well as the direction of nest from observer. So if you're taking a GPS point from the road, you're going to need to estimate how far that nest is in meters and then fill in the direction. If you've done what I just did above, where you drag the map to the correct location, you can just put 0 for both of these fields because they're no longer relevant. So I'll just put 0. Next, it's a species name, and you just have to click on it and you get the drop-down options. You'll just need to make sure you click and drag to see all the options because it'll only show you about 6 at a time. And we also have the options for if you aren't able to identify the species, because that's going to happen sometimes. So if that happens, just select one of those. And then the next is the confidence. So if you need help verifying identification through photos, you can select that. That's just if you've selected up here nest occupied but species unidentified, and you think that you've taken photos that would be good enough to later identify and you want to go back and look at them, just select that so that we know to follow up with you and see if we can get a better idea on it. The next is the next structure type. So select one of those. If it's not on the list, then you're going to select other, but make sure that you provide information down in the comments below. For the evidence or activity field, it's been ordered in level of importance. So if you see more than one, the most important thing is adult in the nest, and the least important thing is adult within 50 meters of large stick nest. So if you see courtship or display, plus you see evidence of nest building, you would select nest building. The next field is number of individuals observed. So if you see a pair, you put in 2. And then comments field, if you have any comments you want to say about the observation, or especially if you selected other from any fields above, make sure you put in some notes. And another piece of advice I can give is when you're in the comments field, it'll open up the keyboard. It might look different depending on the type of phone you have. But in order to close the keyboard, I have this keyboard button in the corner that I can press, and that'll get it out of my way, because otherwise it can kind of get in the way. So once you're ready to submit, you just hit this green arrow in the corner, and it asks you if you want to send later, send now, or continue adding the survey. So while you're in the field, you're likely going to want to hit send later. And what happens now is in the outbox, you can see I have 1 observation. So if you're in the field and you've seen another nest, you'll go back to collect, and then you can collect another species. At the end of the day, you go to your outbox, you'll have a bunch of observations here, and you just hit the send button, and then that sends it to us. So the other survey is this survey block. So I clicked on the icon to open it, and now I'm going to collect again to open up the form. So this is what you'll fill out when you're done your survey. So it asks for your survey block number, I'll put that in. And then the survey crew, that's just your name. I'm not going to type it all out here. Your survey date will automatically be populated. Wind speed, that's just we want an average for while you were out there, so you can kind of get a rough estimate of the scale. And same with temperature, just an estimate in Celsius of what your average was. Same with cloud cover. And then, was the survey block completed? So in most cases, your answer is going to be yes. It's only if you were surveying and for whatever reason you just had to leave, you couldn't complete it, you're going to hit no. But otherwise, you should be finishing the survey in the day and you'll hit yes. And then it's the total distance traveled. In a previous webinar, they gave tips on calculating that. So you'll put in your value here. The only thing to know is if you don't complete your survey in that day, so you'll hit no, and you'll put in what you managed to complete that day, and you'll still submit this. And then the next day, say I go back tomorrow and I finish it, I'll be filling in my new environmental variables for that day. I'll be selecting yes, and then I'll still just be putting what I did that day. So say I did 10 yesterday and I did 11 today, I'm just going to put an 11. And then you can fill out any comments you have about your survey, and then you can submit it. And again, you can select send later if you want to save it to your outbox, and then just save it when you're home. This is also helpful because if you want to test this out at home, just use that send later button, go to your outbox, and instead of hitting send, hit delete, and you can delete it. So that's a good way that you can test it and make sure that you know how to fill out this form before you go out. So in case you're watching this and in a bit of a panic that you don't have a smartphone, I'll put your mind at ease a little bit. We do recommend that you bring someone with you that has a phone if you don't, and it's funner to be out there with a friend anyways. But we will be providing printable data collection sheets and maps that you can use as backup if for whatever reason your phone isn't working or you drop it in a puddle or whatever happens out there. The tricky part is you'll still need to collect your location without your phone. So you'll either need to bring your own GPS to Martha Nest locations, or you're going to be given a satellite map that you can print out and you can mark up with an X on the map. So here's a screenshot of what the data sheet is going to look like. The one field here is for you to either put in your GPS coordinates if you're using your GPS, or the point name. So if you're marking on the map, make sure you put a number on the map and then put the number here so that you can remember which point corresponds to which row in the table. And it's designed to be per block. So if you're planning on doing 2 blocks a day, you'll need to print out 2 of these. I'll also be giving you a sheet of codes because you're going to need to use the same drop-down values as are in the survey 123. So I've given short forms that you can fill out for species name, nest structure type, and evidence. But once you're back at home, you're still going to need to type this up into the Survey 123 app in order to get it to us. So we'll be giving you another hyperlink that is a link to the form, and I'll just open that up here. And this is just in my web browser on my computer. So what I would do is I would take my paper data collection sheet, I would get home, and then I'd open this up, and then you just have to type in everything you filled out from that day. And then you're going to need to fill out your location as well. So you have this map that'll help you if you use satellite imagery. You can just find your location. You can use this to search a place. You can zoom in. This will change your base map. So if you want the satellite imagery, you can get that. And then you just need to zoom in, find your location, and you're done. If you were using the GPS, you can type in your coordinates here. So, and you can also change if you use UTM coordinates, you can enter them in there. And then it has all the same fields as before, so make sure that you're filling out that paper sheet completely, because otherwise you're going to get to this form and not going to be able to submit it. So if you have any questions, you're free to email me. My email is there, or you can also contact Beatriz Prieto. She gave the first webinar, and she'll be contacting you and giving you all the hyperlinks to these forms. And that's all I have for today, but we thank you for volunteering and have fun out there.